Right. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Today is November 18th, 2019. This is the first lecture I am going to be recording. This is something I really do not want to do, but my new motto is seek discomfort.
Alright, as a English teacher in Thailand, around the halfway mark when I was finished with one semester, I remember by the second semester, by the first few weeks of it, it felt to me as though the second half of a year as an English teacher would be the same as the first, as in I wouldn't be learning as much as I did in the first semester. So in response to this, I decided to try to change things up a little bit. By this point, teaching for maybe 3-4 months, I had more or less known what I was doing in terms of, facilitating the learning in a classroom. So I used this luxury so that with this taken care of, this primary objective taken care of, I expanded and tried different things, different techniques. Sometimes they were less than conventional, say. But to start with, some of the different things I did to try to mix things up so as to keep things fresh, let's say, was I remember I created these quote posters and laminated them and put them on the wall of my classrooms. I brought some maps with me from different parts of the world, from San Francisco to South Korea, Japan, and I put them on the wall as well. I created some flags, the U.S. flag, State of Nevada, and University of Nevada, my alma mater. Put these flags on the wall as well. Took pictures of my students and created some mug shots of them, and I created some impromptu certificates to give to some of these students. As I was doing this, thinking of new things I can do to implement to keep things interesting, I was confronted by a truth that has been with me for many, many years, since my childhood at this point. This truth was, I was afraid of seeing myself on camera. In fact, I remember back in my college days, which was a few years back at that point, a few years ago when I had a communication class, which was essentially a speech class. And the professor there recorded all of our speeches that we gave in front of our class. And part of our assignment was that he was going to privately upload it onto YouTube, and we were supposed to watch them and write a written response as part of our homework assignment. Me being afraid of seeing myself on camera, I ran away. I never really watched those YouTube videos on myself giving those speeches. They were speeches about some personal things about yourself, as well as ones where you're teaching a skill set to your class. Anyways, I didn't watch them. That's the point. And I just faked all of my written reports about having watched them and what I thought about myself speaking in front of others. Essentially, I lied. So that was college. A few years later, as an English teacher, I decided it was time to make a stand, stop running away from my fears. So after making that decision, what I decided to do was record some of my lectures and watch myself talking in front of others after that. Which, after making that decision, it wasn't a very difficult process. Essentially, it was just, I already had a tripod, a very small tripod, which I'm using right now. Same tripod, and put up my smartphone camera, put it in the back of the class, and just hit record. Essentially, that was basically the gist of it, and just teach the class as normal. Of course, the only thing that was really different was that some of the kids were curious on why there was a camera on the back, and when I started recording the lectures, I felt more nervous as I was going to be seeing myself after this, but essentially, besides that, everything else was the same. And after having recorded those lectures, I would force myself to watch each of those lectures twice over. Each one was about maybe 45 minutes, which it took a lot of time, but just sit there and watch it like a movie. And I thought I would cringe a lot, but I didn't. I was going to watch them and see if the things that I could improve on, which in hindsight, there wasn't a whole lot which I could improve on. Still, essentially I was making mountains out of anthills. Seeing myself on camera wasn't that bad. And this recording lectures thing, this was different than when I decided to be an English teacher. I decided to be an English teacher because after quitting corporate America, I needed a job to validate my self-worth. That was my mentality at the time. That's why I became an English teacher. And speaking in front of others and learning how to do that, overcoming that fear, that was just a byproduct. It was a nice add-on. It wasn't what I intended to do. But recording myself on camera, teaching, that was my own initiative, my very first initiatives to overcome a fear. Of course, maybe a few weeks after I started doing this, well, I put them on YouTube, by the way. I record them, put them on YouTube, and maybe a few weeks after starting doing this, I got a complaint saying that due to school policy, I'm not allowed to record classroom activities, so I had to stop. What I learned from that experience, learned that you can think of fear as fear is a clogged funnel. You say that all your time and energy, it's water. It's flowing, and if you have a funnel that's clogged, well, you're confined in one area, kept in a smaller world, because your creative energies aren't allowed to flow in different directions. They are redirected somewhere else. But once that funnel is cleared, well, you can go through that funnel, but besides just going through that one funnel, there are so many other opportunities that lie beyond that funnel that has been a chokehold to your energy. And using me as an example, this fear of seeing myself on camera, well, after clearing this clogged funnel, I recorded I uploaded a YouTube video of myself doing a Kung Fu demo, doing a couple of Muay Thai ones, as well as salsa as well. Besides that, and now playing and singing with the guitar. And this all began with just me talking. It opened the opportunity to record different types of videos, being comfortable with that, being comfortable talking in front of the camera about different topics, from things I talked about previously, just off the top of my head, talk about regret, burnout, patience, etc., as well as my own past as well. And this is within 1 year. This happened recording my lectures as an English teacher. This was less than a year ago. And after clearing that funnel, I've done this much, as I've previously stated, so far. And I have decades in front of me. So all the opportunities that lie ahead, they are countless after clearing this one fear. So another way you can see fear. Fear, you can see it as a gatekeeper. A gatekeeper to a vast ocean of dreams and possibilities. Now that gatekeeper is standing in your way. Standing in the way of you reaching all that you could be. So that gatekeeper, get him out of the way.